Assalamualaikum and hello to our lecturer. This video critic is prepared by Muhammad Azim bin Aziz Rahimi and Nur Ashila Bashira binti Mazalan from class 4F.
Okay, first, I will tell the synopsis of this movie. In 1954, Bernard Garrett wants to get into real estate, but encounters regime that prevents him from being a successful real estate investor. After a chance encounter with wealthy club owner, Joe Mounce, he convinced Joe to be his co-investor. Together, they convinced Matt Stanner, a white man, to pose as the front of the company in meetings to facilitate the sales. Eventually, they become extremely successful in Los Angeles real estate, with the two teaching Matt the basic of real estate investing.
No one is going after that market, but I can.
Your confidence is impressive, but 10,000 less than asking is not enough.
Once I lease the units, I can give you your full asking price. Let's say by June.
You want me to loan you $10,000 so you can buy my building?
Well, it's not a loan, it's an investment.
It's a loan. For more than 3 times what the average American family make in a year.
2.4 times.
What?
The average American income in 1953 was $4,233. 10,000 is 2.4 times the average income.
Well, I admire your entrepreneurial gusto, but it's not the way I do business. I'm sorry.
The first critical incident that happened in this movie are negotiation skill. Okay, what is negotiation? Negotiation is the process of communicating back and forth for the purpose of reaching a joint agreement about differing needs or ideas. It is a collection of behaviors that involve negotiation skills, communication, sales, marketing, psychology, sociology, assertiveness, and conflict resolution. As we can see in this scene, Mr. Barker do not agree with the negotiation that made by Mr. Bernard. It is because the amount that he wants is too much. Mr. Barker also said that the wrong way Mr. Bernard wanted to negotiate with him, because he wanted to borrow money from him and wanted to buy his building, but he exceeded the amount of the agreement. It is not the correct way to negotiate with people. So that we can see it is the negative critical incident in this scene. For the analysis, we can see it is the bad negotiation skills by Mr. Bernard, as he looks not really well prepared to negotiate with Mr. Barker. It is effect Mr. Bernard because there is no agreement on both parties. In my opinion, for the recommendation, Mr. Bernard should take a break and reconsider the counter offer wanted by Mr. Barker, or find other alternative solution before making another negotiation with him on the other day.
There isn't anything on this top sheet about individual loan limits, dollar amounts, or durations. They're all averages. They didn't lie. They just hid the shit in the averages.
How the hell did our lawyer miss that?
Oh, I couldn't use O'Keefe.
What?
Bernard checked the property so fast I moved up the purchase date. O'Keefe couldn't make it, so I hired someone else.
How'd you find him?
I asked around.
You asked around. He asked around. What the hell does that mean?
We told you you weren't ready to run your own bank. We told you. You forced our hand, now here we are.
Who exactly did you ask to find this lawyer? Who, Matt?
Florence.
Florence.
You asked Florence.
He switched the goddamn mark.
The second critical incident in this movie are related to decision-making skills. It is the ability to make decisions is a valuable leadership trait, and it shows your ability to think objectively and consider different options. An ability to make a quick decision can help establish a strong bond of trust with other employees that can strengthen your company's culture. As we can see, Matt Stanner made a bad decision making as he did not use the lawyer Bernard recommended. So, we can see it is the bad critical incident in this movie. We also can see that it is affect Joe and Bernard because they are all arrested under federal banking laws. In my opinion, Matt Steiner should ask or refers Joe and Bernard first before making a decision.
I'll give you two options. We get an 11% capital return rate, and you get your 25% profit in the markup. Or we get a 10.5% cap rate, and you take an 18% instead of a 25% markup. You can choose, but he can't help you.
Not what I expected, Matt Steiner.
The third critical incident that happened in this movie are persuasive communication. What is persuasive communication? Persuasive communication is an attractive sources, a message containing convincing arguments, or efforts to make the topic seem personally relevant to the audience. The function of persuasive communication are communication that focus on guiding or convincing its audience to adapt certain ideas, action, and attitudes. As we can see in this scene, they had the positive verbal communication because they help each other to gain trust from others. Because of that, Mr. Renaud feels amazed with Matt Steiner's effort and decide to sell the building. In my opinion, for the recommendation, Matt Steiner should slow down his conversation a little bit to make sure that they can have the conversation and an agreement really well.
I'm worried.
About what?
I don't always do great under pressure.
Come on. You're natural.
Natural what?
Performer.
How do you know that?
You think I got where I am in life without being able to spot talent? Okay.
Yes, sir.
For critical incident, this movie is related to the confidence building. That means it was a positive critical incident. Actually, what is confidence? Confidence is a mixture of courage, strength, and the ability to pick yourself up when something fails. It is a really important aspect in handling any problem in workplace environment. Based on what we have seen in the scene, we can describe Matt Steiner is having a lack of self-confidence, which is, he said that he cannot do well the pressure because it was his first day working in real lifetime. Next, we can see that Matt Steiner become worried to meet Charles Renaud, who is the owner of the banker building, in negotiating to buy a building in Los Angeles. However, Matt Steiner made a right decision making as he expressed his nervous feelings toward his work toward Joe Maris. Joe Maris is such an inspirational leader as he managed to motivate Matt Steiner by saying that he got a talent to complete the task. So we can see that Matt Steiner becomes more motivated to complete his task. Matt Steiner should learn, engage more in positive talks or to use positive visual imaginary to boost his confidence.
Hey, nice car. Thanks. What are you? It's my friend Matt. You didn't tell me you had a rich uncle. Nice to meet you.
Hardly rich, and I'm his cousin.
You got a car, you're rich to me. Still up by the right place.
Fifth critical incident is fatigue communication. What is fatigue communication? Fatigue communication is a verbal or non-verbal exchange that serve a social purpose rather than an informational one, such as to initiate a conversation, greet a person, or bid them farewell. That means these are negative incidents. Based on this scene, we can see that Matt Steiner praised Bernard's car and had a brief conversation with Tony and Bernard, which is small talk in the car. For the affection of this scene is making Mr. Bernard feel proud of himself because of Matt Steiner praising his car. Maybe it will boost more confidence of Mr. Bernard. But for your information, by this scene, Matt Steiner should have shook hands with Mr. Bernard before he left, rather than just giving him a simple wave. That means Matt Steiner must show that he have a good effective communication skill and social interaction. For your information, Matt Steiner should have a shake hand with Mr. Bernard. It will be more respectful each other.
National Mortgage Company. No description.
Maybe it's a broker's fee.
$189,000 as a finder's fee for a $971,000 package of loans sitting in an aggregator's office. It's a pretty hefty finder's fee.
19.5%, but that includes payment for future consultation.
It's a strange arrangement. Mr. Garrett, Mr. Morris.
Is that something that should concern me? Aren't we here to make sure my bank is sound?
The last critical incident in this scene we have review is turn taking in communication. What is it? Turn taking in communication is in a conversation when one person is listen while the other person is speak. As the conversation progresses, the listener and the speaker roles are exchanged back and forth. That means a circle of discussion. Is it positive or negative criticism? It may be negative. Based on this scene, Matt Steiner is initiated the dialogue during listening the auditor speak. As soon as the auditor refused to let Matt Steiner keep talking while he is not finished his talk. Further affection by this scene, the auditor shows Matt's face while he thought Matt Steiner's actions were strange and unacceptable. In my opinion, as a listener, Matt Steiner should wait until the auditor finish his talk before provide a thoughtful response. To summarize, there are many lessons that we can learn from the movie or the scene in this movie, The Banker, in terms of professionalism and unprofessional behavior. This critical incident helps to highlight about positive and negative behavior, which is negotiation skill, decision-making skill, persuasive communication, confidence building, fatigue communication, and the last one is taking in communication. This also about how we speak to each other in partnership or in workplace. In this movie also shows us that we cannot become racist person with anyone because it is a bad attitude at workplace or any place we go. We can conclude that if we do not apply a professional communication skill, it will affect our relationship in surrounding us. That means we must remember to always respect each other and be professionally and listen attentively to have a good circle in workplace environment. That's all from us about Critic the Banker movie. Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.